Hello everyone and welcome back to Crypto Atlas. Unless you are new to the channel, then well, it is nice to meet you guys. If you enjoy yourselves, don't forget to hit subscribe for more cryptocurrency news and technical analysis. And also, if you guys click that little bell notification, whether you are new or old, that's a great way so that you get alerted when there are new videos. For this video, we're trying to get to 50 likes at least, so if you guys would like to help out with that, it'd be greatly appreciated. But in today's video, what we're talking about is going to be Bitcoin, Orchid, and Litecoin. And there's a lot of news that's going on, and we just had the daily close candle for Bitcoin, as you guys are taking a look at here. It has done something very, very good, but there's still some cautious signs to kind of keep an eye on, and I'm going to be talking about that and more. So let's go ahead and talk about the news, and then we'll do the technical analysis. First up, focusing on what's going on with Bitcoin. Bitcoin hits new 2020 high at $16,700. Traders expect bigger breakout. As of the time of this article, it was written 5 hours ago, and as of the time of me recording this video, it's at $16,700. So very interesting that there's a big correlation between the two of those. Bitcoin price hit a new 2020 high at $16,765, and traders expect a much larger rally to occur in the near term. Some key takeaways from this. There are several reasons why analysts expect a prolonged uptrend. First, Bitcoin cleanly broke out at $16,000, taking out the $16,473 peak achieved on November 13th. Second, there is a sell-side crisis brewing as more Bitcoin gets accumulated than mined. Third, Bitcoin rallied despite indicators showing overbought signals. Looks like I was wrong. This is a quote about the chance of a correction. All we got was a bit of consolidation and then back to the races. BTC USD broken setups like this are signs of strength, so currently the path of least resistance is higher. Hashtag BTC. Another quote from somebody else. Now at $16,600 from $11,000. Since the break at $10,000, 3,000 Bitcoin has been withdrawn net daily from the main Bitcoin centralized exchanges. Miners refuse to sell their recently halved rewards in the face of demand and are comfortably above break even. Last time we had vaccine news, BTC followed stonks on the initial uptick, but ultimately succumbed to gold's trickle down. Probably a dip worth buying if history repeats and the opportunity presents itself. What's interesting is that with what's gone on today, gold actually didn't do very good. It didn't do good. It went backwards. We'll talk about that. Moving on to the next article. Coinbase. Oh my gosh, Coinbase. What is going on, bro? Okay, if you guys are new to this and you're in the United States and maybe use Coinbase, first off, shame on you. Shame on you. Shame. Because there's also Coinbase Pro and you got the same login information. A lot of people don't realize this, but the transaction fees are actually going to be cheaper if you go use Coinbase Pro. So, and plus now you can actually get direct deposits. So like Coinbase, use Coinbase Pro if you're going to use Coinbase, guys. Coinbase goes down as Bitcoin nears $17,000. And this sucks because it's not the first time that this has happened. When something big was happening to Bitcoin, and then you try to log on to Coinbase and you're like, I can't log into my account. I can't access anything. If I wanted to sell Bitcoin right now, I can't. If I want to buy Bitcoin right now, I can't, because the website's down again. And it's, again, not the first time that it's happened. Oh, that would have sucked if I would have just knocked my little button there and muted my mic for the rest of the recording. Can you imagine? The website and mobile app of U.S. cryptocurrency exchange Coinbase are down as Bitcoin is nearing $17,000 within striking distance of its all-time high of $19,665 set in 2017. So when this article was written, this was just before it actually hit, because we haven't hit 17K yet. For some reason, my mind was thinking about that. So we're getting closer, but yeah, earlier today, there was an issue with this. According to a company update, a fix has been implemented and the company is investigating this issue. Coinbase has suffered a number of outages during busy trading periods this year, including most recently on October 27th. The outage comes at a time when Bitcoin has been fast approaching new highs not seen since January 7, 2018. At press time, Bitcoin was at $16,834, up 6.27% over the last 24 hours. So $16,834. So this was actually written before it retraced back from where we're at. Hey, look at that. We're back to a green candle. Flip, flop, back and forth, right? We try to have fun on this channel too, by the way, if you can't tell. So like I try to give you guys good information and news and technical analysis, but also give you like a little make it fun, you know? So good info, good vibes, right? Again, I thank all of you guys for being here. And if you've been sharing this with anybody that you know, family or friends or somebody else that's into this kind of stuff or these specific cryptos I keep talking about, then a big thank you to that as well. So that's it for Coinbase. Now on to the next thing here. What do we got going on next? Well, the market wrap, Bitcoin ascends to $16,800. Uniswap and Tether, 35% of Ethereum transactions. That's right. This is actually affecting some other things, predominantly Ethereum, and there's some key elements to take away with this. Bitcoin is knocking at the gates at $17,000, while Ethereum's transaction growth in 2020 is a positive indicator of future financial use cases. Bitcoin trading, as of the time, gaining 6.1% over the previous 24 hours. Not bad, 6.1%, 24 hours. Excuse me, I've got like an allergy thing or something going on right now. Bitcoin's 24-hour range is between $15,792 and $16,851. Bitcoin above its 10-day and 50-day moving averages, a bullish signal for market technicians. So giving you guys some other perspective views from other technical analysis of other people. Bitcoin has accelerated to the upside on positive short-term momentum, upholding overbought conditions following its recent breakout above former resistance from 2019, said Katie Stockton, a technical analyst for Fairlead Strategies. Momentum, as measured in the form of volume, was at $688 million as of press time, higher than the past month's $404 million daily average on major spot exchanges. You guys can see a big progressive movement over here. Bitcoin volume by the exchanges as of this point in time. This is in reference. You guys can see different Bitstamp, Coinbase, Gemini, Itbit, Kraken. Kraken being leading in the background there, which is interesting too, in my opinion. The next resistance is final resistance from 2017 near $19,500, Stockton added. Based on CoinDesk 20 data, the last time Bitcoin was at this price level was back on January 6, 2018, when the daily high was at $17,211. In addition to Bitcoin's bullish run, global equities were also up Monday across the board, boosted by positive economic news and promising results for another COVID-19 vaccine in the face of a resurgence in the coronavirus pandemic. The Nikkei or Nikkei, I'm not sure how you say that, 225 closed in the green 2% as Japanese gross domestic product numbers grew by more than anticipated, boosting investor confidence. Europe's FTSE 100 ended the day climbing 1.6%, boosted by the news drug maker Moderna's coronavirus vaccine proved to be 94.5% effective. In the United States, the S&P gained 0.80% as fresh news on the vaccine front gave investors motivation to hit the buy button on a possible economic recovery. According to several analysts, the climbing value of Bitcoin is also giving the world's oldest cryptocurrency an increasing use as value storage for lending, both from centralized players and in decentralized finance or DeFi. Since November 2019, the amount of Bitcoin locked in DeFi, for example, has skyrocketed from 1,422 to 174,673 Bitcoin, a 12,183% increase. And keep in mind, this is actually very important in the role of how Bitcoin and DeFi kind of come together, because when you lock in Bitcoin, you're taking it off of the market, you're moving it out of circulating supply. And so basically, it's an alternative way of reducing down supply. Think of it in that sense. So in the immediate situation, putting it and locking it and then having certain parameters that you can't access it until a specific time frame means that the likelihood of it going back out in the market and essentially flooding the market gets decreased. And so more demand increases, the supply in various formats, people losing it, people die, it gets confiscated for illegal activity or something, and then DeFi, all these kinds of things that take place, guess what? Makes it more scarce. So you don't have Bitcoin, you haven't invested in it yet, and you're watching my video. I mean, there's plenty of signs. Bitcoin's been going up, and it's showing that it's going to be holding really strong. The likelihood of it going down to any kind of major levels again at this point is getting weaker and weaker by the day. It actually proves a strong use case for Bitcoin beyond the digital gold narrative, as it's used as a pooling and yielding instrument. Since the start of July, the Ethereum network has been averaging over 1 million transactions per day, according to data aggregator Glassnode. That number of transactions was first experienced 3 years ago during the 2017-2018 crypto market bubble. Token swapping and stablecoins are a big part of this, as 35% of the network's transactions are on Uniswap's 18.93% and involve Tether, 16.42% on Monday. Interesting. Are there markets that have been going up? Litecoin, plus 14%. Ethereum Classic, okay, 6.6%. XRP, 6.1%. And guess what? You remember what I was talking about earlier? Gold? Sorry, gold. Gold was in the red, 0.12%. And at $1,886 as of press time. Gold is for old people that don't know about Bitcoin yet. I'm just kidding, guys. Or am I? No, Bitcoin's gunning for a record, and no one's talking about it. Seems kind of weird, right? Like all the news stuff, you think that like, hey, we're pushing closer and closer and closer to 20K, and they're not really saying anything. They might say like, oh, the stock market's doing really good. Hey, look, the Dow Jones, new high, this and that. But this whole idea that we're almost to 20K again with Bitcoin, no one's talking about it. Cross above $17,000 would mark its fifth highest closing price ever. So we did not have that on the daily. On the daily close as of yesterday's candle, it was at 16,727 as of the time of me recording this video. We're currently above that at 16,753. Hopefully by the time this video gets uploaded, we're going to be even higher. But I got other things, like I mentioned, that we got to be cautious about. It's kind of in the shadows right now, said Bryce Doty, portfolio manager at Sit Fixed Income Advisors. Bitcoin gets attention when it looks like the world is coming to an end. It's the anti-vaccine trade. As stocks and everything else have done better and people have forgotten about trade wars and things have been eclipsed by the pandemic, Bitcoin has taken a backseat to all of that. This rally is clearly different in a number of ways, Hirsch said by phone. It is less speculative, he said, and even though recent developments have been advancing at, quote, a snail's movement, it's in the right direction. Generally speaking, we're very bullish on what's happening. Here, we haven't even hit the previous high, he said. Yes, it's back up to $16,000, but people at the dinner table will be talking about it when it hits $50,000 or $100,000. Then Thanksgiving will get very exciting, and I'll start hearing from those relatives again, he said. That's when I think it really makes people's radar. So let me know what you guys think about that. Does it have to not only pass $20,000, but literally go to another major milestone like $50,000 or $100,000 for people to be like, oh my gosh, Bitcoin, what is that? That's the thing you told me about before, right? What do you think it's going to do next? Do you think that like it's going to go down now and people just really genuinely start to get more curious about it and say like, man, I wish I was in it when it was back then. And then next thing you know, you're trying to convince them that we're still in the early stages and they're going to be like, nah, $100,000, like that's the beginning still? Like, no, when it was a dollar, that's the beginning stages. No, that was the beginning stages, but this is the beginning stages of, we're talking about like potentially a very long time in human history, longer than we'll live, right? If everything keeps going on this kind of a track. And that's one of the big key takeaways is we're looking at like a lifelong, life-changing situation, not like a 10, 20-year company kind of thing, 40-year company. This is looking for the long haul. So very interesting. $1 trillion market cap is next big resistance for Bitcoin, Bloomberg analyst says. So this $1 trillion is going to be roughly around the $20,000 price point, guys. The digital version of gold, but with more limited supply and a history of adding zeros, appears to be in an early price discovery stage and may simply continue its ascent in 2021. McGlone wrote, mainstream adoption is rising, as you guys can see over here on this chart. Beautiful chart. Beautiful, beautiful, beautiful. All right, one more on Bitcoin, then we're going to talk about Litecoin. We're going to take a look at the charts. So looking over at this, Belarus Bank, one of the largest credit institutions in Belarus, has partnered with OTC over-the-counter broker Whitebird to offer a Bitcoin buying service according to an announcement Monday. For now, purchases will be available via bank cards issued in Belarus and Russia. The two countries' financial systems are well connected. But going forward, the bank is planning to sell cryptocurrency in other neighboring countries such as Ukraine, Georgia, and Commonwealth of Independent States, CIS nations. What? Guess what? More adoption, more demand. Very bullish. Litecoin surges after PayPal includes it among the cryptos customers can buy, sell, hold. So that last one we talked about, they were talking about Bitcoin and they were talking about Litecoin as well. Litecoin rose more than 10% on Wednesday. This is an older article. This is back on October 21st. So as you guys can see, not only is its inclusion with PayPal something that's going to lead to more demand for something like this, but also the fact that you got other banks and institutions that are looking to try and include this further. So now let's go ahead and take a look at the charts. We're going to start with Bitcoin. We'll talk about Orchid, and then we'll finish up with what's going on with Litecoin as well. So Bitcoin, huge key moment, guys. Why? Because this level of resistance that's been formed here, pulling all the way back from approximately when we had this drop off take place, my map at least, on June 11th. So during this whole period of time, we've finally broken above and closed above that level of resistance. However, there are fake outs, and that's my concern, is that the close above here is just going to retrace back in, and now there's a still quite a bit of a gap between the 21 EMA. The good news is that the 21 EMA, it's still going up more. So if, for example, yesterday, if it was to close and touch or bounce off of even the 21 EMA, that's at a lower price point than as of for today. In fact, for yesterday, that would have been at $14,971. For today, it would actually be at $15,141. So you're talking roughly about a $200 price difference, right? And as this progresses to move forward, the likelihood that we're going to stay above key levels, like for example, $15,000, and stay strong in that movement up, it strengthens it. I keep saying strong. Big strong guys. Oh God. If you guys know what I'm talking about, more power to you. So stupid. Again, if you guys are enjoying yourselves, don't forget to hit the like button. Trying to get at least 50 likes on this video. If you guys haven't subscribed yet, don't forget to subscribe, the bell notification, so that you know when new videos come up. Now that we're actually above this point, the next key level is looking at trying to get above that $17,000, especially on a daily close, as we talked about earlier. And then after that, it's going to be the $17,200. So we pull all the way back here, approximately $17,200, just underneath that. And then after that, it's pretty clear skies, guys, trying to get over to that 20K. You could argue and say something along the lines of like these little key points here, maybe at 17,900, which is essentially 18,000, and then you got 18,145. It becomes so minuscule because there's not a lot of points of reference, and this was such a short time frame that this took place, right? So yeah, we could look at those key levels just to kind of see how things are gauged from a psychological standpoint. People will still reference those in the end anyways, but that 20K looking more and more promising. And now we go back over to where we're at now. If I can find my chart there we go. Trying to move as quick as I can, guys. Trying to move as quick as I can. If it has a retracement back down, keep an eye out. Make sure it doesn't go below the $15,141 level. That'd actually be quite of a bit of a substantial pullback that would take place. But as it is right now, everything seems to be holding pretty strong. Again, if you have more demand that's coming into the equation, then that's largely indicating that there's going to be a further continuation in price. So even if major whales do try to drop off, you got other major whales that are looking to buy in, and you've got the regular people that are steadily buying in small increments behind the scenes that you're not really seeing, right? You might get alerts on something like this that shows you, hey, this is over $100,000. But if somebody's putting $50 in, and their friend's putting $50 in, and that other friend's doing $1,000, and that other friend's doing $10,000, that slowly adds up. Especially if they're not doing it just once; they're doing it per paycheck. They're doing it once per day. Maybe they're doing it a couple times per day. You know, we got all these different factors. So right now, Bitcoin looking very bullish. If it retraces back down below this level of resistance, this key point right here, which is now potentially going to form a new level of support, that's at 16,672. So if it breaks down below that, we might see a further correction down. Whether it can hold that position and where it kind of rests at, we're going to have a key eye on that. I would say a key level is going to be at $16,340. That's roughly a $400 decrease from where it's currently at. But, you know, right now, Bitcoin is very volatile. Good news today. Hopefully good news continues on for tomorrow. Next thing we look at is with Orchid. Orchid, I love this project. I own it. I want it to do well. I think I said this earlier, if not, but again, guys, I'm not a financial advisor. So always take everything I'm saying with a grain of salt. It's my point of view. It's my technical analysis. I'm referencing articles, things like that. And it's always good if you do further research. This is a project that I really think has a lot of good promise though. And so I'm pretty well invested into this. Unfortunately, it's been going down and it hasn't been having strong stability. So right now you can see it's forming a consolidated space, and there's still a lot of tokens that need to be released out into the market. So it's not on its total supply. The circulating supply is almost at that half mark. It's 1 billion total supply, and we're over 400 million in circulating supply according to their website for this. As it is right now, this yellow line, it's a key level, and I've talked about this in previous videos too. It's the 21 EMA. We had a daily close above the level of resistance, but it was below that 21 EMA, and essentially had filled in everything that happened the day before. Not quite, but and actually with where we're at right now, you're looking at it just now touching that brim. Actually, it's just slightly above now that I zoom in just a little bit more, because it was at 0.2254. Right now it's at 0.2255. So a little bit more than 22.5 cents, right? Needs to get up and go above 0.2268, which may not sound like a big deal, but when you got all this back and forth and you got some whales and then you got more coins that are going into the circulating supply, and then those people that got the tokens from the early stages of the project start dumping it, it becomes a little bit frustrating. And so as I mentioned before, for Orchid, based on its history, you guys take a look at this track record ever since it had that big bull run up here. It doesn't go above the 21 EMA and stay. It needs 3 days. If it gets 2 days, it's a good sign, like we had 2 here. But even back then I said, given its history, we need 3 days. And lo and behold, the next day it had a massive dump. Massive pump, massive dump, further dump, trying to recover, trying to pull back forward. As we get these momentums, somebody comes around and they dump it. Pump and dump, pump and dump, pump and dump. And that can only happen so long. I mean, the project itself is very promising. The VPN space, the future industry space they're looking to is actually doing nano payments and with marketplace from my understanding. And I think that that's absolutely amazing. So VPN, yeah, it's got a nice appeal to it, but nano payments and a whole market space that's being attached with that, now you're talking a lot more potential customers, a lot more applications, and it's cool that you can actually build something like that on top of what Orchid's initial design is, right? So this is a project that I definitely think people should keep an eye on, and I personally think that it's underrated. It's only been around about a year, so as far as it being undervalued right now, it's kind of hard to say because we don't have all the coins that are, or the tokens that are technically out in circulating supply yet. So if they were all out into circulating supply, I probably would feel a little bit more differently, but because there's still more to go, I can understand how as more gets released, the price gets pushed down a little bit, and it's a little bit frustrating, but you know, it's a waiting game, and patience is a virtue, right? So let's see if it does that. It has a chance to have a further pullback down if it's going to go test this level of resistance that's been being formed. Keep an eye out for 0.2155, so roughly a 1 cent correction down. And as we've seen here, it tends to break down the level further. So I would even say, just for namesake, it looks like approximately around this level, we have a couple bounces and a little bit of a consolidation in these other spaces here. So that's roughly 0.2108. Next thing is Litecoin. Now look at Litecoin. Look at this nice little green candle. Also look at that volume. The RSI is breaking above on being overbought. So that's a little bit of a cautious sign. As you guys can also see, it's been a retracement back these other times. But I wouldn't, count it out too soon here. We talked about the fact PayPal. We talked about the other bank. You're talking about other countries potentially having that involvement too. Litecoin's history also shows a high price point. And so it's working its way back up. It's not out of the game yet, right? And we had one break above, came down, break above and down, break above. And this could actually be a sign of a third instance of a continuation. And so far, it is still in the green. Previous day, nice big green candle. You look overall in the volume, and the volume is not progressively down. The volume is actually moving down here and then has a little bit of a curvature up. And volume once again with the curvature up. Volume being comparable there to actually near on July 27th where they're starting to have a rally take place during that. But mostly bullish. Look at that. As far as that candle size goes in comparison to back here, it is more substantial. So most of the sentiment from people during that phase was actually buy. It wasn't that much contesting and trying to force it back down. So that's actually some good news right there. It has to break above this level, the 85.09 level. We can take a look back here. That's a key level of resistance before it has a chance to push back to its previous all-time high, even further back technically. We zoom out further. For some reason I thought this was actually the top resistance. I'm like, it's been around longer than this, I'm sure. So its key high point right there at approximately $420. So it's still got plenty of room to grow. This other level that's going to take place across this point is going to be at approximately $148. So you're looking at almost a 2 times. And is it going to go reach that? You guys let me know in the comments down below. Is it going to have a further correction down? Well, right now it's having this rally. So if it has a retracement back down, a key level of support is going to be at approximately $41.63, which was stabilized right here as a bounce off and a further continuation up. That's a big key level. And you can even see a lot of these closes that takes place is right around the same point as well. Okay, so that does it, guys, for Bitcoin, for Orchid, and for Litecoin. Very interesting, very promising news. It seems like the market sentiment is all still very bullish in the moment. And I'm curious to see what's going to happen next. So do you guys think that Bitcoin is going to hit 17K in the next 24 hours? It's only $255 away as of the time of me talking about this right now. Unless you look over here, it's even less than that. I'm looking at the BTC USD. Do you think it's going to have a retracement back? Do you think Orchid, good or bad in the near term, short term, long term? And Litecoin, same thing. Any thoughts and opinions? Let us know down below. I think you guys should also look down there to see what other people are saying. I want to build a strong community, and your voice is important. Your perspective is important. I am doing a video, but I don't want you guys to base all of your decisions on the opinions of one person. I do value you guys if you do like my opinions and you take that into account, but I don't expect you guys to 100% agree with me on every single thing that I say. I encourage you guys to further your education. And I hope everyone does well with these things. And again, if you guys are new, don't forget to subscribe. Don't forget to click the little bell icon so you know when a new video goes up. And if you can, hit the like button. Help us get to at least 50 likes on this video. Thank you guys so much, and I'll see you in the next episode.